Hello everyone. If I give you 1000 numbers, can you tell me what they mean? Most people see data as numbers, Excel, or databases. But data analysis is not about staring at numbers. It's about turning those numbers into information, finding insight and using those insights to make better decisions. And that's exactly what we're going to start learning today. I'm sorry the video is coming late. It's supposed to have been yesterday. Thank you. My name is Samuel, and through Grunte, we're going to take you through a practical journey from understanding data as a beginner to using real tools and real projects to solve real world problems. Thank you. Today marks the day one of our 30 days practical data analysis and data science journey. Then in this day one, we're going to talk about what is data, from raw data to information, insight, and decision. We're going to learn it, practice it, and also build with it. So in today's mission, by the end of day one, you should be able to explain what data means, distinguish data, information, and insight, understand how raw data becomes useful, identify data around you, turn a simple data set into a meaningful observation, understand why businesses need data professionals. Today's goal isn't memorization, it's learn how to think with data. Yeah. So let's start from the word. What is data? Data is a collection of values represented by characters that are stored in or used by a computer. It could be a letter, it could be a digital, it could be letter, it could be digit, it could be special characters or anything that is being fed into the computer or that is being stored into the computer. Let's say if a business sold 120, 150, and 200 products this week, what do you see? You see numbers, right? Yeah. But numbers alone don't tell us why sales changes, which day perform best, what causes the changes, or what the business should do next. I repeat, if a business sold 120, 150, 90, and 200 products this week, what do you see? You just see numbers. But numbers alone don't tell us why sales changes, which day perform best, what causes the change, or what the business should do next. That's where data analysis begins. So we say data is data equal to raw facts. Data is a collection of fact, observation, or measure that can be recorded or analyzed. For example, numbers 50,000, 120 customers. Text, Lagos customer A, date 12th January of 2026. Images, product photos, audio, customer record, sorry. Location, Lagos, Nigeria. These are actually data. And you know, data is everywhere. The skill is knowing what to do with it. Look around you. Phone, where you make calls, send messages, screen time, location. Supermarket, where we have product, price, customers, transactions. Hospital, we have patients, appointment, results. Banks, where we have transaction, account, loans. E-commerce, we have orders, customer delivery. Then company sales, employees, expenses, revenue. So data is being generated constantly from what we have seen here. Where we have the customer column, we have the product column, we have the region column, and we have the revenue column. Then the question here is, what can you immediately tell from this table? We have data, but you haven't extracted the story yet. Raw data becomes information when we organize and process it so that it becomes meaningful. Example, 220k plus 180k plus 610k plus 250k plus 320k. Total revenue 1.88 million. Then legal revenue 1.45 million. Data tell us what was recorded. Information gives those records meaning. Like I repeat again, from what I just called now, like 150, 520k, 180k, 610k, 250k, and 320k. Total revenue in naira is 1.88 million. Then legal revenue is 1.45 million. So here, data tell us what was recorded. Information give those records meaning. Then we say insight. What is an insight? What is an insight? Insight equals meaning that can support a decision. Any meaning that can support a decision is an insight. Well, we have data. We have data where we have legal revenue 1.45 million. Then, for instance, that is a data, raw data. Then information, we know that legal generated 77% of revenue from the calculation. Inside, Lagos is currently the strongest revenue market. Possible decision, increase marketing inventory while investigating other regions. A good data analyst help people understand what the number means. All right. So the data journey is data we got to clean or organize the data, analyze it, this is the data journey. The data journey has to do with data collection, data cleaning, analyze information, inside decision, and action. So these are the cycle we go through when we want to analyze data. So we first of all have access to the data, then we clean and organize the data. We analyze, sorry, we first of all collect the data, clean and organize the data, analyze the data, then information, insight, decision, and action. Let me repeat again. The data journey starts from the data itself, that's the raw data, down to the clean or organize the data, analyze information, insight, decision, and action. This is the journey where we follow throughout the 30 days training. So, practical example: imagine you own an online store and you have 10,000 orders, but sales are failing. Manager, why are sales failing? Your manager asks, why are sales failing? You don't need to guess, just try to investigate the data. Ask what product you can ask a question like which product are declining, which customers are buying less, which location are affected, when did the decline start, did price or marketing change, are customers abandoning carts? That is data analysis. Let me come again. Practical example of data analysis is imagine you own an online store and have 10,000 orders, but sales are falling. Then your manager asks, why are sales falling? Don't guess, just investigate. Ask questions like which products are declining, which customers are buying less, which location are affected, when did the decline start, did price or marketing change, are customers abandoning carts? That is data analysis. Okay. So you ask question like that has to do with you ask question like what, like which answer, what happened, when, like when did it happen, where did it happen, who is affected, why, like why might it have happened, then what next, What should we do? Data analysis is not just about tools, it's about asking better questions, right? So, data analysis versus data science. These people, some people mistaking data science to data analysis and data analysis to data science. But here we have to make we have to show you, the difference between data analysis and data science. So here, if you've not known, here we say data analysis versus data science. Data analysis has to do with understanding existing data, what happened, why sales changes, which product performed best. Tools: Excel, SQL, Python, Pandas, Power BI, visualization. And data science go further: predict sales, identify churn risk, classify customers. So the tool they use are Python, statistics, machine learning, API, Django, then deployment. That is data science. So what am I saying in essence? Data analyst, you have access to a tool. You use tools like Excel, SQL, Power BI, Pandas, Power BI. The main difference between data analysis and data science is that one built predictive models while the other one aimed at visualization. Do you understand? Uh, So what we build, this isn't just a theory. Like I said, this isn't just a theory. We're going to be dealing with sales and customers analysis, interactive business dashboards, automated Python analysis, SQL business queries, predictive machine learning models, Django data machine learning web application. We could use Django, we could use Fast API, and to build our complete final project. So what we're going to be doing is we learn, we practice, we build, and we deploy. Those are the cycle we'll be using on this our journey. So here are the 5 examples of data around you. For each one, answer. Okay, you need to identify 5 examples of data around you. For each one, answer: what is the data? What information can you extract? What insight could it provide? What decision could that insight support? Don't just watch and practice. Don't just watch, but also don't just watch. Practice. So mini case study. We have cafe, for instance. Cafe, we have Monday. On Monday, we have 40 customers and we made 8,000K, 80,000 naira. On Tuesday, we have 45 customers and 90,000 naira. On Wednesday, 30 customers and 60,000 naira. Thursday, we have 70 customers and 150,000 naira. On Friday, we have 100 customers and 220,000 naira. Observation: Friday appears to be the strongest sales day. Possible decision: increase inventory and staffing on Fridays. Don't don't jump to conclusions. We shouldn't immediately say Friday is better because customers prefer Fridays. There could be another explanation, like maybe if the company is running a promotion. It could be another explanation like a promotion, a nearby event, different prices, longer opening hours, a competitor was closed. Remember, observation or correlation is not equal to automatically knowing the cause. I repeat, observation and correlation is not knowing the cause of the increase in sales on Friday. Don't start, the tools come later. Don't start with tools, start with thinking. You start everything that has to do with data analysis, start with thinking. So the tools have to come later. Like after thinking about, brainstorming about the data sets, then the tools come later. where we have the Excel to SQL to Python, Pandas, and NumPy, statistic visualization, Power BI, machine learning, Django, API deployment. First, understand the problem. That's the first thing you need to do. The 30-day journey, day 1 to day 5, we talk about data foundation, data information, insight, types, and questions. Day 6 to 10, we talk about Excel data analysis. I repeat, the 30-day journey outline. Day 1 to 5, we talk about data foundation such as data, information, insight, types, and questions. Then the day 6 to 10, which is Excel and data analysis. So we do cleaning, data cleaning. We talk about formulas, pivot tables. Then day 11 to 15, we talk about SQL. So this day 11 to 15, that is SQL topic. We talk about SQL. We talk about queries, filtering, join aggregation. Day 16 to day 20, that is Python. We talk about Python's fundamentals, list, functions, NumPy, pandas. And day 21 to 25, we talk about statistics and visualization. Day 26 to 30, data science and application, where we do machine learning, API, Django or fast API deployment, and final projects. That is what we're going to be doing for the 30 days. We're going to be doing that's what we're going to be doing in this our 30-day journey. By the end of this journey, you won't just say, I know Python. You'll be able to say, I can take a real world problem. You'll be able to say, I can take a real world problem, work with data, analyze it, visualize it, build a predictive solution, and turn that solutions into something people can use. That is the goal. That is our goal for this 30-day journey. So the one takeaway, data raw facts, that means raw facts. Then information means organized and meaningful data. Insights means what the data help us to understand. Then decision, what we choose to do with that understanding. So we have the data, it moves to information, from information to insight, then insight to decision. Yeah, however, we say data are collections of distinct value represented by characters that are stored in or used by a computer. Example, we have letter, digit, special character like hyphen, full stop, comma, and all that. Um, data can be of types beyond a single character. Now we have the boolean, which makes use of true and false. We have the image, sound, and video. They're all data. So Boolean text and numbers are commonly stored in tabular formats. In greater quantities, these types are stored in database tables. Image, sound, and videos files data can be of types beyond a single character. Now we have the Boolean, which makes use of true and false. We have the image, sound, and video. They're all data. So Boolean text and numbers are commonly stored in tabular formats. In greater quantities, these types are stored in database tables. Image, sound, and videos files are more complex to store and analyze in tabular formats. They can be represented in a table through the storage part of the data file. They can also be stored in database table as blobs, that is binary large object. So we have table. And table is a grid with data arranged in labeled rows and columns, such as the Excel we use and also Google Sheet. Data are labeled in columns and rows there. We have the Dequa pyramid. The Dequa pyramid here, as you mean, it represents the relationship between data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. Let's say data From the data are raw, unprocessed, and unorganized facts that are seemingly random and useless until they are processed and organized. And that is the least, that is at the base. So when it's being worked on, it becomes an information, and information is processed and organized data, often presented within a given context as to make it useful. So after that, the next level is knowledge, and knowledge is the understanding and comprehension of the information you derive from data. So the next level is wisdom, which is the ability to make sound judgments and decisions based on experience, knowledge, and understanding. So everything started from the raw data. We process it, it got to the another hierarchy, it get to the apex, which is wisdom, being used by company. So here, information on the other hand is processed and organized data presented in a meaningful context. Information uses data as building block to drive meaningful inferences in accordance with its contextual requirements. It facilitates crucial decision making and is applicable in many industries. And it's applicable in many industries such as finance, healthcare, retail, logistics, etc. It is presented to stakeholders in the form of spreadsheets, graph, report, payslip, etc. So let's talk about data versus information. Raw, unorganized, and unfiltered. Whereas information is refined, structured, and evolved from raw data. Data is comprised of elements or facts required for analysis, whereas informations put facts and elements into context. Independent of information, that is data, but information depends on data. Data is meaningless on its own, but information is meaningful derived from analyzed and interpreted data. So data is not sufficient for decision making, whereas information is sufficient for decision making. Let's say, for instance, a book contains words, which is data, and as one read the book to completion, one infers what the book is about, which is information. So every day, a cashier records sales items, which is data. At the end of the month, the manager look at the total number of sales and the does if they made a profit or not. That is information. So the next thing is what we use data for. We use data for three things, which are for decision making, for product development, and for storytelling. Then data are used to make more informed decisions when it comes to decision making. Data driving decision making is using metrics and facts derived from data to guide strategic decisions that align with the business goals, objectives, and KPIs, that is key performance indicator. For product development, data are used to build and develop products and services for the improvement of our lives or businesses. So the next thing is storytelling. Data are used to assist us in better contextualizing the story we tell. You understand? So some example of real world uses include prediction. Some examples of real world uses include prediction of future sales, purchasing behaviors, fraud detection products, marketing campaign analysis, and improving customer acquisition and retention. So those are the things you use data for. Here is the life cycle of data. The life cycle of data is describe the stages that data have to go through before meaningful insight can be extracted to meet our objective. The first stage is data collection. Data are gathered from various sources such as sensors, surveys, and databases. The second stage is and data storage. Data are stored in a secured and accessible location. The third stage is data processing. So data are cleaned and transformed, which may include statistical analysis. Data and insights are visualized using charts and dashboards so that it is easier to understand. The next stage is data dissemination. So here, data insight Here, data, insight, and visualization are shared with relevant stakeholders. The sixth stage is data archiving. Here, data are stored in a secure long-term archive when it is no longer needed for current analysis. Then the next and the last stage is data destruction. So here, data are securely and permanently deleted when it is no longer needed to secure regulatory compliance. So those are the stages we data go through to be transformed to an information and to knowledge and wisdom. So the next, that is, we go deeper into what you've said so far and talk about them tomorrow. That's the next thing we're gonna do for the next class. If probably based on I didn't meet up to yesterday, by God's grace, I can still put up the next class before tomorrow. You understand? So God bless you. God bless you. See you. So the journey start today. Don't wait till you know everything. Start with one data set. Ask one question, find one insight, make one better decision, right? The two type of data, structured versus unstructured, qualitative and versus quantitative, categorical versus numerical. That's what be going on day two. So data analysis. You want to learn data analysis, data science practicals. We don't just teach tools, we help you analyze real world data sets, build practical projects, solve business problems, create dashboards, use Python and SQL, build machine learning solution, develop deployable application. Follow the 30-day journey. You will never regret it. So this is a way you can learn, practice, build, and deploy. Thank you. See you tomorrow, or see you in the second day of our journey.